This is one of the things that I find really important when you're teaching either piano lessons or violin lessons or singing lessons or whatever music lessons it may be. Sometimes with beginners, we get a little occupied with the rhythm and we get a little occupied with the pitches, and we toss musicality out the window. So we forget about all those expressive features that really take someone from just being a player of an instrument to a musician. So some of the things that I really like to point out to my students to help them remember their expressive features in their music is the time signature. It's something really simple, and you teach it really early on, usually in piano at least, which is what I teach in private lessons. Point out those time signatures. You know, is it in 3/4? Is it in 2/4? What does that mean? That doesn't mean we play it like a robot, every note the same, right? So I always try to give them an example. So with 3/4, we're gonna have strong, weak, strong, weak, weak, or 2/4, strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak. Another thing that I always like to point out with my students to help them become more musical is their articulation. Are they playing it legato like they should be? Are they playing it with the staccatos if there's a staccato? With an accent, really bringing out those accented notes if there's an accent. So I like to point that out to them, make sure that they're honoring everything on the page. Otherwise, it's gonna sound like bum, 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 really robot-y. Like, you know, they're a good player, they're playing the right notes, they're playing the right pitches, they're playing the right rhythm, but they're missing the essential feature that makes people feel things when they listen to music. So I always try to encourage them, like, we need to get this next level of musicality added in, or else the song is kind of boring. The next thing that I might point out to my students is the dynamics. And sometimes there aren't dynamics written in, and I have to help them write in their own dynamics. And I do this by letting them test them out. There's nothing wrong with letting them try and figure it out. Listen to it if I play this part loud, listen to it if I play this part quiet. Which one did you think was better, and kind of honored the feeling of the song. So if there's not dynamics, write dynamics in. If there are dynamics, make sure that they're following them, trying their best. Sometimes it can be easy to go, oh, you played it right, you played all the right notes, you played all the right rhythms, great, let's move on. But make sure that you stop and you think, okay, wait, did they really play that piano? Could that have been a little more piano? Because those are the little details that are really going to make them enjoy the music and are going to make their performances really interesting and drawing in the audience. The next part is tempo. So usually I encourage my students to learn their piano pieces slower, obviously, so they can get everything right, the rhythm right, and all of those little details right. But then I like to encourage them to move up the tempo so that they are honoring the composer's wishes. And so I encourage them to just move them up by a few beats per minute once they've mastered it at one level. So say they start at 56 beats per minute, and if they can play it 3 times a row perfect, I'll say, okay, move it up to like, I don't know, 59-ish. And then if they can play it at that level, okay, move it up. And this helps them get it to the speed that it needs to be if it needs to be fast. But it's also equally as important that if it's a slow song, that they also make sure that it's the right tempo, playing it appropriately. And in this category, I also include changes in tempo, like retardando or accelerando, or going back to an a tempo or something like that. So these little details are what really makes the difference. And I teach fairly young students, and I start out just as soon as they start playing the songs. If there's a marking that indicates expression in any way, I start teaching them like it's important. It's as equally important as the notes or rhythm, maybe more important than the notes or rhythm, to include these musical aspects in order to make your song sound enjoyable and have life to it and come off the page. So I hope these little hints and tips that I gave about remembering just those basic things in expression in order to add that little element of musicality in your students' pieces really helps. So yeah, if you like my videos, go ahead and give a like and give a subscribe. I should be posting every Saturday, so go ahead and check them out. Yeah, bye.